Hey there, it's me, ya boy, your favorite YouTuber you have never heard about before, and welcome to r/IDontWorkHereLady. First off, sorry for not uploading in the last few days, I had some personal issues that I had to resolve. Also, I may sound a bit weird because I'm only running on 3 hours of sleep today. So, with that being said, enjoy the video. The first story of today is called Think I work here and demand me to move 30 bags of concrete? Okay. Before starting the story, this will involve a bit of r/Pettyrevenge and r/MaliciousCompliance, alongside the promised r/IDontWorkHereLady. So I live in Australia and we have a supply chain of hardware stores here called Bunnings Warehouse. Picture a hardware store for everyone, both tradesmen and your average Joe. I was a teenager at the time and I was dressed in work clothes. I was working for a carpenter at the time, steel cap boots, work pants, the whole deal. The most important thing about this all is my work shirt. My company uses a black bottom-up shirt, short-sleeved and collared. Search FXD SSH1 if you're interested. My company also had our logos plastered all over these things. For privacy reasons, I can't show you the logos, but these are the base shirts. Now, the people who work at this hardware store, they wear red polo shirts with green writing, the logo for their company. Now, I was riding shotgun with my boss. He had gone into the store while I was in the timber yard collecting some bags of concrete for the footings we were about to put in. I was moving some of the bags, one at a time, to my boss's work truck. These bags aren't overwhelmingly heavy, about 20 kilograms. But I was only moving one at a time. The walk wasn't that far and this was the start of my day. Last thing I wanted to do was injure myself before the weird work has even started. I was on my 6th bag out of 13 when this man came up to me. He was your average DIYer. Certainly not a tradesman, just your average bloke, 50s, balding, and wanted to show off that they could successfully screw together a garden shed. He was just staring at the pile of concrete bags. For context, there are several different kinds of concrete for different purposes. He then asked me what concrete you should use to put in some fence posts. I told him he would be looking at the rapid set. It would suit his needs perfectly. Considering he needed to ask what kind of concrete, I imagined that he hadn't actually done any sort of work like this before, so I gave him the lowdown. Dig your hole, pour the bag directly into the hole, wet it with your hose, dome it off. Pretty simple. So he said thanks. No issues here. So I grab my next bag and begin to take it to the truck. Here is where the fun begins. What? Where are you going? He asks. Now, I'm quite confused at this point in time, and then I respond with, "Oh, I'm going to put these bags on the back of a truck. Is that a problem?" He replies with, "Mate, my car isn't over there. I'm the white Camry over there. I'm always the dudes in the white Camry at Bunnings." Any tradesman who goes to Bunnings knows exactly the guy I'm talking about. Anyways, I stand there trying to figure out what's going on. "Well?" he asks. I figure out that he thinks I work there. "Oh, sorry mate, I don't work here. I'm getting concrete for my job and I'm on a tight schedule. Sorry mate." Now, usually if I didn't have to be somewhere, I would have given anyone a hand. Moving these bags sucks. But he doesn't seem to believe me. "What? Look at you. Of course you work here. You got the right clothes and everything." I try to reply and he doesn't want to have a bar of it. He goes off and says as he's walking away, "You better have all 30 bags on my car before I get back. Step on it." Well, my dearest friend, be careful what you wish for. It didn't matter that I was busy, this was the new priority. Cue the MaliciousCompliance/Pettyrevenge part of my story. His exact words were, "You better have all 30 bags on my car before I get back." His car had a box trailer. I knew exactly what he meant. But no, sir. I tried to tell you otherwise, but you didn't listen. I needed to move, so I started moving the bags, 2 at a time. I placed them all over his car. 12 on the bonnet, 6 on the trunk, and the rest perfectly layering the top. I see him walk out. He sees his car, and this man's jaw hit the goddamn floor. Nearly had a heart attack. "My car! What the fuck have you done to my car?" I had a grin from ear to ear. "I put all 30 bags on your car, just like you asked." I was giggling like a toddler. Now, after much screaming, I told him to can it, and he could move it himself. I was late as it was, and my boss was getting impatient. However, he watched us all and was laughing too. "Sorry mate, I have to go to my actual job now, so you're going to have to move these yourself." He wasn't happy, but hey. At least the bags were now significantly closer to his car. He sucked it up and began to move them. I was walking back to my car when I heard him yell. The thing about these bags of concrete is that if you don't support them underneath and just grab them from the side, They tend to split clean down the middle, dumping all the contents of the bag in a messy pile directly underneath it. He had split the bag clean down the middle whilst trying to take it off the roof. The thing spilled its contents all over the roof and windshield of his car and was the funniest thing to happen yet. He got the job done eventually, but not before splitting 3 more bags. His car was covered in concrete dust. I left him there, car covered in concrete, while he admitted defeat. This one's on you, Camry guy. This one's on you. You see, this is why I love Reddit. There's just these awesome stories everywhere. I could have also put this one into a malicious compliance episode, but well, since it was posted on IDontWorkHereLady, I decided to put it into this video. Might do it a bit of crossover episode in the title or something. Well, the guy got what he deserved, and well, I don't think he should have a right to be aggressive. Lady claims that I assaulted her after I told her not to touch me. This happened a few weeks ago, so this is kinda fresh in my mind. I'm about 13, not 100% sure of my height, but I'm taller than an average 13-year-old. But my voice isn't as deep as most 13-year-olds, so I guess that evens out. I was at a Walmart with my mom that day. I'm not 100% sure what the employee outfits are, but they seem to be blue shirt with a logo on it and black pants. I was wearing a red hoodie with a t-shirt underneath and blue jeans. Quick side note, the next part is a really long text in one block, so I'll just have it running down the screen while I read it. So my mom and I were thinking about doing this craft I found on YouTube where you make designs on t-shirts using bleach. We're very much into arts and crafts, so we love to do these random things we find. We went to Walmart to get the things we need. When my mom remembers she had to get some fabrics for pillowcases she wanted to make. We head over to the little arts and crafts section where the people cut you. We press the little button to get help and wait for about 10 minutes. I'm pretty experienced in cutting fabric, so I offer to do it. She says, "Oh yeah, that's probably a better idea than just sitting around and waiting." It was a pretty basic cut, so I do it and I give it to her. We're about to leave and she says she has to go to the bathroom. She tells me to stay there, so I take a seat on a bench near the area where the employees cut the fabric for you. I pull my headphones over my ears and start scrolling on my phone. I then feel a sharp tap on my shoulder, and I look up to see a stereotypical Karen. Classic, "Can I see your manager haircut?" I start thinking in my head, oh crap, she's gonna ask where my parents are. Until she says something. I couldn't hear her, so I say, "Sorry, what?" She then yells at me, "You shouldn't be listening to music at work. Why aren't you behind the counter?" I then say, "Oh, I don't work here, I'm just waiting for my mom, sorry." Her eyes widen, you can tell her she's positively pissed now. "Don't you lie to me," she says in the most annoying, painful voice ever. "I saw you cut the fabric for that woman," she says. "No, that was my mother. We got tired of waiting for an employee, so I just did it." "Bull!" She screams at me. "You're such a terrible liar. I'm taking you to your manager. I'll have you dropped for this." She grabs my arm and starts pulling me, so I quickly pull my arm away from her and say, "Ma'am, please don't touch me." She grabs my arm again and says, "Don't talk to me like that, you brat. I'm the elder, so I get to do what I want. Come with me." No, I say as I pull my arm away a second time. "What do you mean no?" says Karen. "You can't just grab me and just take me places. Just because you're older than me does not make everything you say automatically true. I do not work here. If you want to try and get me fired, go right ahead. But I'm not going anywhere with you, bud." She gasps, as if she had just heard the most shocking thing that has ever been said in the history of mankind. "You do not talk to me like that," she says to me. By this point, my mom is starting to come back. She sees this random lady yelling at me and runs to her. This is how it went. "What the hell are you doing?" my mom says to the Karen. "This little brat just refused to give me service, then assaulted me when I tried to take him to the manager." "What? Assaulted you?" My mom intervenes. "What do you mean, refused to give you service? He doesn't work here." "Bullshit! He was cutting your fabric earlier." "That's because I'm his mother and we didn't want to wait for an employee." They start bickering at each other for a little bit, until the manager sees what's happening and runs over to them. "Excuse me, what's happening here?" "This brat assaulted me and refused to help me." "Fire him, now!" I just start laughing now, because this situation is absolutely ridiculous. This young man doesn't work here and I doubt he assaulted you. "Oh my god, that's such a lie. You're probably just trying to save his ass." "He did assault me. He violently pulled me after I asked to see the manager." "No, I didn't." "Okay, let's start at the beginning. I want to hear what happened from both sides." why don't you go first? Pointing at her. Karen begins to make up some sob story about how I wasn't working, then called her names after she asked me to simply cut some fabric for her. And you? I then explained what actually happened, and it turns out my mom had seen about half of the thing, just so he was able to support me. Alright, ma'am, he really doesn't work here. He's not even in a uniform, and he's obviously underage. What is your name? I'm turning you both into the higher-ups. I'm gonna get you both fired. The manager tells her his name, and she types it into her phone. Now, I'm gonna need you to please leave. You're disrupting customers and being generally unpleasant. I will not. I'm a customer. This little brat refused to add me and now you're supporting him? This is bullshit and I'm not leaving. He then calls a security guard to escort her out. Later, we were paying for our items when the manager saw us and apologized for what happened and told us to please next time wait for an employee because they actually charge you for the fabric at the counter in the aisle instead of the main registers. He was super polite about it and gave us the fabric for free. Now just for comparison's sake, this is how long the story was and you can see there's no pauses in between, so yeah, there's that. So, my opinion to the story, well, normal IDontWorkHereLady story, they just get told that the people don't work there because obviously they don't, and then they just start freaking out, and yeah, it's usually doesn't end good like this, but well, the manager was a cool guy, so in the end, it had a pretty good end to it. Anyway, that's it for today's video. I've recorded the last part and the next day, so yeah, the part where I'm recording this speech is the day after I got these 3 hours. I'm a bit more awake, so I just needed to redo that because I wasn't focused enough to just do it. So anyway, thanks for watching and I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you liked the video, give it a like, maybe subscribe to my channel and maybe leave a nice comment if you are. And once again, sorry for not uploading so long. I will resume to my daily uploading schedule soon. With that said, and I hope you'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.